Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show we're going to talk about some interesting facts about NAS, which is my first foray into this territory. So we're going to have an interesting discussion about that. Now I'm hoping that audio and video is working. I'm waiting for confirmation. Hello YouTube viewers. Okay, so I basically used an incognito window to verify that audio and video is working. I hope everything is working. Yes, I already got Harpreet AV okay. That's awesome. Thank you for confirmation. So here you guys can actually comment. It's not a members only. So you can do that. Let me just verify things. Okay. Okay, cool. Everything seems to be working. Everything seems to be fine. So let's dive deep into it. Now, I so far have 3 computers. The first computer I bought was like when I cleared class 10, and after that, I did try to make that computer into a NAS. But problem is it was too limited. Meaning not only it had Ethernet that was only 100 megabits per second, meaning 10 megabytes per second speed. Almost useless. It's basically slower than USB 2.0. So that was a very big problem. On top of that, the motherboard, even though it had a Southbridge chipset that can handle 4 SATA, it only had 2 SATA plugs. So that created an issue where I could not truly convert that into. I did try it. I did even dump money into it, which was unwise in hindsight, but that's how you learn. But 1 year ago, I got my new PC. So my old PC, that was my work PC, finally got deprecated. So just basically last week I worked on it, and finally that puppy is working as my first network attached storage, my first home server. And yes, those things are server because one of the primary function of servers is serving files. And yes, you can do so many things more into it, but again, that's how I wanted to start, like get my foot on the door. Thankfully my brother had like a very ancient enclosure, external hard drive enclosures that were like they had hard drive like this, 2 terabyte hard drives. So I did manage to open them up, extract the hard drive. These are defective hard drives. These are not what's working in my NAS. So, and full video will come basically next week, as in next Wednesday. And if you want to watch it right now, you can join the membership, so you can easily watch it. All members get early access on all my video. Which RAID you are gonna use? I'm gonna use a simple mirror. There is nothing fancy. It's just basically these 2 puppies will be cloned to each other. The reason is basically, again, those are old used hard drive. On top of that, you kind of need it, like, and yes, that's the tragic part. If you have 2 of them, that means you have 50% waste. If you had 3 hard drives, yeah, then you can have 33% waste, as in like redundancy price, but that would be a bit better. But okay, it is what it is, and you only need 3 storage systems, so to say. So I had one SSD, which again was in my old work computer. That SSD is a high-end SSD. It's like a Samsung Pro 850 Pro, I think. Again, back in those days, Samsungs were only at 800. So it's a very high end. I think it's still under warranty. It's like 10-year warranty was there. It's a Pro series. So that is the operating system drive. And then I have 2 mirror system. Now, do you really need NAS, or you're doing it for hobby? It's a bit of both. Right now I'm doing it for learning, and again my job requires me to, like, this YouTube job requires me to have experience, only then I can talk about it. So that's an absolute fact of it. On top of that, sooner or later we're gonna reach a point where I have to do it properly. Like, I have to. I have too much data, and again, because I do want to make sure that photographs of my family last long enough, which again, you will be quite shocked how easily people lose those things in Google Drive. And anything that is free, it's already lost. So you have to understand that, like, sooner or later you have to do it. And again, Linus Tech Tips also said one very interesting: any photographs that's highly valuable, how the heck you are trusting it to someone else? Like, if it's a valuable enough, and again, photos have this weird property, it's like they're not valuable today. So any photographs I'm collecting today, it has not that much value. But 5 years from now or 50 years from now, that will be priceless. So you have to practice what you preach, so to say. So I'm really want to do that. Are you gonna make a media server? If yes, Plex or Jellyfin? Those things are a bit far out, because here's there is one very big problem. The area that I live in does not have good electricity, as in the power goes away. And because it's an old computer, while many people have in Western media, you would see like they buy second-hand server component. Those are loud and power hungry. I do not get the loud part, but I did get the power hungry part. This puppy consumes 100 watt of power, not doing much, so to say, which is not okay, flat out not okay for a NAS that only has 2 drives. That's just like, no. But it is what it is. It's like a freaking AMD bulldozer, FX8350 processor, ancient computer. Again, I was not very smart. I should have bought Intel. It would have saved me few steps, because again, I could have removed the graphics card, used onboard graphics, but I removed the graphics card, used old system, and it did not save that much power. So I think GPU does go down to very low energy state, but energy wise it's not viable for me, because again, if I run this 100 watt load, it will drain my inverter very quickly. So it's not doable for me, where it's where I can actually trust this. But again, from a learning's point of view, it's priceless, because so far I was talking about ZFS, talking about free NAS, not free NAS, sorry, true NAS. But this is the first time I'm like actually doing it. So it's a very good learning experience. They lived in fantasy world. It's not fantasy. It's just like you can even do the same thing in India, especially in Bangalore. There is like X-Refurbish Indian website where you can get server parts for surprisingly cheap. But again, I did not want to pay for it. Like my pocket situation is not very great, so to say. So that's the main thing. It's like, yeah, it's a bit cheaper, parts are a bit cheaper there, but not like, true drastically. Like if you want true drastically part changes, go to Pakistan, see the price there, then you're like, oh, India is free, bro. So it's not great, but it's not terrible. It's not like something I would say, oh, we can't do anything. It's like, okay, it is what it is. Fact of the matter. And again, I'm not gonna complain, oh, they get cheap computer part when their medical bills are like so expensive. I'm like, bro, I need health far more than I need tech. So me good. Indian gamer made a video yesterday talking about different story of data loss of people. You should make a video like this. I have already made many videos about data loss. But again, if you have exact link, please do post it. It will help me narrow it down. But I've been doing that. Are you free from case now? No. One of the cases is over. By November, the window for High Court will also be closed. So if nothing happens by, let's say, 1st December, so to say, that part would be sorted. Then only one case would be remaining. It is what it is. It's like at this point, I'm slowly becoming okay with it. It's like, but it's much better compared to what it was. Like much better. Like much better. Knock on wood. Yeah. Bro, good evening. Good evening to you, Vector. So yeah, that's the whole point of it. So at some point you have to make your own NAS, because our data needs are so high. And again, once you have your own NAS, you can learn things, you can build things. And here's the interesting fact. One of my friend works in backend, server backends and all that, for companies and all that. And because he sees what's going on behind the scene, he does not trust it. And again, it's one of the things, once you really understand what's going on, you can't be like, how the heck Google is giving free drives? That means they are doing something very shady, so to say, in order to make it profitable, because it's not viable. And again, if you are old enough, you must have remembered when Google Pixel phones were announced at the first day, that one selling point was that they're gonna give you free full-size photo backups, unlimited. Meaning any photos you take right now, if you take any photos on your camera phone, let's say that is 24 megapixel or anything higher, or any DSLR photo, it will shrink it to 12 megapixel, then upload it to basically your Google Drive. However, Pixel owners were getting a function where they're like, it's unlimited, go YOLO on it. Then they changed it. So it's one of those things, like once you really understand what's going on in the data, you will find it's far more economic, especially once you grow. Right now, I'm just learning phase, but again, learning phase is good. Learning is good. I advise it 24/7. But once I learn and assume I have a little bit of seed money, then I can easily build a proper server. And again, even solid state servers. I can't even imagine that unless I have experience with that. But right now you can even buy Asus store where it's just SSDs. And again, you can buy 4 terabyte SSDs. And it's actually cheaper right now to buy a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD compared to 2 terabyte mechanical drive right now. So in terms of capability of doing that, you can do a lot of things. And it will become, as a time progress, it will become cheaper to have your own data host. And again, you can even have two, like I can have one on my home, one with my brother's home, and then we can have remote backup of each other. So that gives us 2 data. Another would be my Blu-ray disc. So then we'll have 3-to-1 backup scenario, and cloud would be 4th backup. So likelihood of oopsing all my data would be very minimal. That's the end game. You have to take control of your own data. There is no other way around it. So I had to learn it. Like sooner or later I had to learn it. And Unfortunately, I hope I'm wrong, but I have not seen any Indian creators like they buy products. I've seen like, oh, I bought this NAS from QNAP or something like that, but I've not seen talking about like, okay, let's build it. So next week Wednesday, you guys gonna get a half an hour video of me talking about the hardware layer of it, because again the software is not that difficult. If you can follow press enter properly, you can do it. It's not that difficult. But the hardware part, like how do you go about it, all of that in detail is coming Wednesday. YouTube is good to start to fly. We need something else. What is your plan except YouTube? I have no plan right now. Our refurbished phone is viable to purchase and purchase fresh new ones. The primary failure point in phone, assuming every hardware is okay, is first the battery degrades. So if somebody was a heavy user, they can degrade the battery quite significantly in even 1 year. So that's one problem. Another is updates. For example, if it's a 2-3 year old phone, that means 2-3 years has been chopped off from this update cycle. For example, let's say you buy a Samsung S23 right now. You are buying a phone that is, if I'm not mistaken, 1 whole year old or 2 whole years old. But if you're like, okay, what if I buy S22? It's already 3 cycles now. So meaning you only get 4 cycles, 3 has already gone. So your brand new phone will only get 1 more update. So for that reason, you may not be like, very tempted to get refurbished phone. Even with iPhone, many times people, oh, iPhone gets update. It only gets 5 updates or 6 updates, something like that. So do not, and again, it's from the launch date of the phone, not when you bought it, even if you buy a brand new one. So there is a limit inherently how much you back you want to go. Again, it's not useless, and nowadays even phones that are not getting updated, they are still functional. It's not like, it's not latest and greatest, but it works. So as a phone you can do it, but I would say for cheap phones, a backup phone, it makes sense. But like a primary, I'm not that comfortable with it. Why tech industries was unable to make unlimited storage devices? That's a pointless question, because you are talking about infinity. Unlimited storage simply means infinity. Like if I start to, let's say Google Drive gave me all the option. Here's the deal, once people storage capacity grows, they start to fill it. For example, this drive a few years ago, just few, like I would have been alive, I would have been in school. In that time, you would have said like, I have 2 terabyte of hard drive that I'm just using as a prop. They would have laughed at you, like 2 terabyte would have like, it's such a enormous, like terabyte, we just got into terabyte era. So you have to understand, but now it does not matter. Now I have a freaking Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, that's one disk is 90 gigabytes. So once you have the storage, you start to fill it up. So okay, now we have more photos, now we have more videos. It was not even a thing, it was not even conceivable back in those days that you will be able to fill up 1 terabyte. Right now it's like only 1 terabyte. So things change. You cannot scale something to infinity. It's almost like Loki, where it's like, we're gonna get temporal loom, we're gonna make the diameter bigger. It's like, yeah, he makes it bigger, then it amplifies, multiplies by that scale, and then it's like, okay, it's now scaling to infinity. So that's the problem. You can never ever give free unlimited. Now unlimited does exist. For example, if you are in Google Enterprise, they will say unlimited, but it's like few petabytes. But again, most people do not scale to that point. So, but again, if you start to scale beyond that, Google will be like, bruh, or they will throttle it. That's much better, because again, hey, we're giving you, it's just now slower. So that's one of the, you cannot scale to infinity. There's an upper limit to everything. Are you going to use SSD for caching? Right now, no, because the biggest hurdle right now, first, I'm a single user. It's just a learning exercise. Another is my network is now the bottleneck. Not only I'm running out of ports, because again, I have a Geo fiber router, which has 4 Ethernet jacks. One Ethernet jack goes to another Wi-Fi router on rooftop, not rooftop, it's like second floor. So one is permanently blocked. Only then I can have full Wi-Fi coverage in my household, in the ground floor, in the top floor, without any issue. So that's done. Another has to go to computer. Now only 2 left. I don't even have long enough cable. So I was connected one with my printer. That cable was long enough. Now I'm connecting that printer part to this, so to say, my NAS. So now I'm running out. My TV is no longer connected. Ideally, I want to connect everything with Ethernet rather than Wi-Fi or anything like that. So and now I may have to buy a switch. Now problem is 2.5 Gbps switches are very expensive, like unnecessarily expensive. I thought they would have become cheaper by now, but they're not that cheap. Because my main computer now has 2.5 Gbps support natively, I could buy a switch and buy an add-in card for my ancient computer NAS and then get that speed, only then I may reach the saturation point of these things. Because yes, when they are in the RAID configuration, they do become higher speed, even on writes, because again, write speed is limited by the computational horsepower and the throughput of this. I'm using a full-fledged computer. It's more than powerful enough. But like again, inherently these things could do 250 Mbps. So let's assume 150 Mbps. So 150 Mbps on 2 drives, that gives you 300, and that is the bottleneck of 2.5 GPS net, and I have 16 gigabytes of RAM. So RAM is also acting as a big buffer. So I do not need SSD caching. I do need better networking. So yeah. So I think Islamic country will suffer much higher fertility decline because the India is reduced by 2 kids, was dropped by 3 kids in 20 years. Time will tell. Those things are not my concern anymore. It's like you have to understand. At some point, you grow up to a point where it's like, hey, am I getting paid for worrying about it? No, I'm out. Like again, anything I talk about science, because again, I'm getting paid for it. You guys will only watch me if I talk about interesting science or technology. That's the channel name, Science to Technology. If you're not, what's the point? So fundamentally speaking, I'm getting paid for it, so I'm giving a damn about it. But all about these sorts of sociological, cultural change, it's a fun little bit here and there, but I'm not worried too much about it. It's like, and again, I have personally, let go of idea of family and children and wife and all that. So it's no longer even personally interesting to me. So I'm out of that. So I do not care about that. What will happen to Elon Musk if Kamala Harris wins? Who knows, man? It's like, it's irrelevant, man. Politics is one of those things that it looks very relevant, but zoom out a bit, it's like the most irrelevant thing. It's like, it's just a minor inconvenience in grand scale of time, not like, 1 year or 2 years. No, in grand scale of time, it's very irrelevant. And all it can do is destroy things. So it's like, meh, who cares? No. Kamal, see, that's the good thing about a good democracy, is like there is enough checks and balance. Nobody at this point in time can shut down SpaceX. Why? Because it's a golden goose. America has no space program going back to, because yes, look at what's happening with Boeing. Boeing cannot even get a proper capsule certified. Not yet. So compare that to Dragon. Would they go back to going to Russia? It's like, please send an astronaut to. It's like, hell no. I'm like, bro. And again, SpaceX has grown so spectacularly. Everybody is copying SpaceX. So at this point in time, you have to ask from America's point of view. They were paying $1 billion annually to ULA just to stay in the race. They were not doing much. SpaceX, even if they have to pay $1 billion per year, they were like, bro, you are doing awesome things. Everybody is copying you. That's like, you have finally put America in like, oh, it's America. It's like the old school America. We were like, whoa, this is America. We're America. So that's priceless. The whole Congress will fire missile at anyone who's like, okay, let's shut down SpaceX. Even FAA, who's like causing difficulties, they're getting like some serious pressure from the whole Congress. It's like, get your shit together. So it's not something that you have to worry about. Whether I see any electronic device feel like opening, doing something creative and understanding in a different way, does that happen to women as well? The different interest, they have different interest. We're not interested in electronics as she is, because she finds it very strange, but she fulfills the interest of decorating the house. Yeah, we see, fundamentally it's fun and games to say that, men and women are equal, but it's like, imagine a world where that was true. It's like saying A equals B, then why do you are writing B, or why you are writing A? Think about it. It's like, if A equals B, that means nothing. That's like, okay, if A is B, then you can write B equal B, A equal A. What's the point? So again, we are evolved different pathways, like fundamentally different. And again, it's almost like how you have katana sword. That sword has a hard edge on the front end, the cutting edge, which they bake. So it's a very tempered steel. It's like very hard. It's like, benefit, it holds its edge very effective. But here's the thing. If you had a whole steel out of that, it will shatter like a glass. So how do they make sure? The back end, where you see that wavy pattern, they put clay and then they bake it. So the edge gets tempered, but the back end still remains soft comparatively. So that's how they achieve that blade that can last, because the edge, cutting edge is very hard. It will hold their edge, but it will not shatter because on the backbone, it's very soft and very malleable. So that's how you make a composite blade. Same thing goes with men and women. Evolution did not craft, copy, paste one thing and another. That does not how it works. Again, if brain damaged people start to say that, that's brain damage. But that's not how humans evolved, or any species. If you have two, that fundamentally means it's a composite biostructure, meaning this will do something only, then it will work. So inherently, don't like, it is what it is. Like, do not try to fight it. Do not try to be like, what if change? It's like, again, there would be edge cases. There will be what you call outliers, so to say, mathematically speaking, but those won't be the whole picture. Like, it's like saying, because Elon Musk came from South Africa, so every student would be like, genius. It's like, that's not how it works. Why do you even want? Why do you even want to have a NAS? That's a very think in two way. NAS is a very core fundamental of whole of internet. Everything you see, when you say cloud, what does that mean? It's basically you are renting NAS of someone else. When you say G drive, what does that mean? That simply means you are renting NAS of someone. Does that mean they have hard drives? Yes, most of the time, yes. Only now they may be jumping to SSDs. So fundamentally, you have to understand if they are doing it, that means there are some limitation, law of physics, which again people are finding it, or some people have lost their Google Drive, Gmail account has been deleted, or again, it happened with Australian pension fund, where it's like whole pension data was like lol, and again Google lolled it. So here's the deal. If I understand NAS, that gives me a bit of an edge where it's like, okay, I understand what's going on. I can build my own. So it's basically learning. You are asking me, it's like, why you're building is almost like a learning. I had parts, I had spare parts. Either I could learn something or I'll always be mercy of some other company, which I'm paying. So here's the deal. If the moment you scale, right, the hard drives, like let's say I bought the SSD variant, because again power is weak link right now. So let's say I bought the SSD variant. In 2 to 3 years, even in India, in 2 to 3 years, I'll be better off buying that rather than paying, internet, paying any cloud service provider. And if I can literally in 5 6 years term, I could literally have two or three, servers where it's like one is my brother, one is mine, and we are cloning each other. So there is always offsite backup. You can do so much more with so little money. From a money point of view, it's economically viable. That's not fine. From storing family pictures to for infinite amount of time, use a photo album in hard form like photo albums used in 90s era. Yeah, fundamentally that seems that you do not have any photo albums. Photo degrade. That physical copy, it degrades. I have photos from that back. It degraded. Negatives, I have negatives from back then. They degrade. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Yep. So yeah, here's the deal. For people who are like, oh, you should have that and all that, I have all this. So yeah, they do degrade. This is the new one I took. These are old ones. Half of them are degraded. Another one, half are distorted. Yeah, so real world example, they do not last. So anybody saying like photos will last, they are silly and childish. They do not last. And again, that assumes the original photo is in what we call acid-free paper. Surprisingly few are not. It's like if you are very lucky only, then you will have acid-free paper. Otherwise, the paper itself will destroy it. Experience. I'm talking from experience. So don't go like, oh, like print it. It's like, what you call, oh, what's that another guy name? Hold on. Christopher Nolan masturbation, where it's like, oh, the negatives will last forever. No, it does not. Fundamentally, it will degrade. Fundamentally, it's not a digital file. Digital file, you can clone millions of times. It will not have any failure. But a negative, only few times, it will be lost. So yeah, if you really want a long term, you have to go to digital. We just never built any digital storage, like digital file, GG. Storage medium as the weak link. That's why you have to use RAID array to make sure the hard drives can handle it. And again, you have to hot potato it. And again, is there a long term feature? Yes, Project Silica from Microsoft. That gives us that actual benefit where you put the data in Silica and it's like, forget about it. So that's there. Do your personal religion own mental peace? Because I cannot connect with any religion, and I do not consider atheism because I tend to nihilism. I just turned atheist. See, it's your personal journey. Do not ask about this. This is a personal journey. Like if it works for you, it's awesome. It does not work for you, it's useless. It's one of those things like resonance. Like I can talk about, hey, I like this song. Like I'm that kind of person who never talks about the artist. I'm always about like the work, because let's say art movie. Yeah, let's say I like the movie Oppenheimer. Does that mean I will like everything that this Christopher Nolan did? Hell no. Tenant was stupid. Till this day, I'm like, Tenant was stupid. It was just like too much self masturbation. It was like nothing good about that story. It's just like what if it was just bad. But here's the deal, that's okay. You may like something, other people may not like something. That's life. So in this sort of personal philosophical thing, it's up to you. Nobody else can guide you in this. You have to do it. Anyway, none of you guys donate in English channel, man. Come on, what the hell? I even have Paytm. So it's like, that's weird. Why your smartphone working negative thing? How was your smartphone working? Any negative things you found? No, it's okay. It's like I'm not a heavy user. The only thing I was interested in was Dex. I did test it out. I'm happy. So if next time I have to travel somewhere, I'll be a bit better off. Other than that, as a camera, I'm happy that it actually takes competent photos. That's why I'm happy. But other than that, battery life is a bit lightweight, but that's it. Many women are also going STEM fields at the point of Florida. Like women don't have interest in it. See, doing it and actually thriving in it, they are two very different. And again, outliers have a very good way of distorting perspective. Meaning, if you sent 50,000 and 5 of them actually became good world-renowned scientists, you'll think so many would do that. No, only few did. That yield rate, and as you increase the edge cases, then you try to find the definitions. Like, oh, I sent 50,000 dudes, 50,000 women. Outcome of 50,000 would be completely different than 50,000 men. That's the whole point. We have learned it the hard way. Half of European countries went all out. It's like, no, it has to be exactly 50-50. Yeah, they're self-destructed. It's like what we call a dimorphism. Yeah, that's the biological term for it. Dimorphism. The more freedom you will give, the more dimorphism will grow. So it's one of those things. Like edge cases will always be there. There will be some men who will have female kind of interest, and there will be some women that will have, like, it will always be there inherently. It's like chaos of the DNA. It will always be like that. We are not like hard coded. It's just, but like as a zoom out a bit, start to do what we call large group analysis, then it's like black and white. Do you think city life would be push humanity to transform into the social structure of ants, where only machines and AI will produce human beings in mass production, owner, demographic contract? I do not know. See, if you start to go that far out, outcome makes no sense. Like, his deal is like, what if this, what if that? Again, that's a good brain rot. It's like, what if this, what if that? You are overthinking to of thinking itself. It's like you have to let it go. Like, okay, what can you process? What information exactly? Like, I can process the energy grid, but only that, nothing else. And when I'm talking about like other things, only that, nothing else. If you try to like, what if this, what if that? Again, it's a good exercise. If you're getting paid for it, if you're an author or any sort of science journalist, go YOLO on it. But if you're not getting paid for it, do not fry your brain on that. Like, it sounds interesting. It's like, I'm thinking, no, you're wasting time. Like anything that you can tangibly do in your day-to-day life that tangibly improves your quality of life, that's awesome. Anything just like, what if I'm thinking about thinking itself? No, this is, you're going round and round in the circle. I swear purifier RO system main issue of high concentration brine water, but water can be used for raw materials, sea salt, etc. No, yeah, that does not work. Think about it, no? Nobody did it. Nobody till this point, hundreds and thousands of RO plant, and nobody has figured out that brine has value. No, it does not. On principle, there was this glass dome, distillation plant that is being worked in, Saudi Arabia. They have the idea that they're gonna use brine water to extract things out of it. Likelihood of that working cost effectively is almost zero. So it's one of those things. Do you really think you are the first one who's like, what if we extracted stuff from this? It's like, yeah, it's not valuable enough. It's one of those, it's like, what if I extract gold from PCB? Yeah, it's not valuable. That's why we do not recycle it. It's fun thing to show in YouTube because again, people do not do mathematics. It's like, oh, what if I extracted everything out of this? Yeah, I can do that and I can sell it and I can make money out of it. Here's the deal. I would have spent more doing that rather than actually making this. So again, anybody who's doing that, like who can unlock the screws and all that, it's an expensive process. That process is far more valuable. So from a YouTube point of view, I can show you, it's like I took this motor and I melted it down, the copper and all that. Yeah, doing all of that, going to the motor shop, finding the motor, extracting it, cleaning it up, all of that would have wasted more money than you will get out of the copper. But again, they are not showing you that part. So it looks like, oh, what if we can recycle this? It's one of those things. On paper it works, in real life it does not. So physics, engineering, economics, be very mindful of that. And especially anything that seems too good to be true, most likely it is too good to be true. When I purchased Canon printer, ink came with printer good, but when I changed the ink, picture quality gone down. How to get same? Did you not buy the same ink, like actual branded ink? Did you buy third-party ink, or did you change the paper? That's the only two things you could have changed: paper or the ink. If you change the ink, that's on you. If you change the paper, change back the paper. Hey, I'm late today. How are you? I'm fine. I'm fine. Did you went to watch Dashera? Yeah. Thankfully, Dashera is a 10-day festival. I think on 9th, maybe on 9th, me and my mom went on a car ride because again, it was much easier to travel then than it is today. So we traveled there, we took some photos. It was interesting. It's one of the things. Laminated color pictures in hard form, not negative reels or picture. Again, the same thing. I can show you old family albums, but because those are family albums, I will not show you. It does not last very long. Fundamentally, it does not last very long. Again, why do you think we have lost so many photos? It's like whole, back catalog should be intact. It's not. Photos do not last. There is freaking services. There are services who like restore old photos. They fade. Like you do nothing to it, it will fade. Red color will become pale brownish. Like no matter what you say, there is no physical medium. I put the data there and it's like forever there. It's no. And again, even to achieve that, which like National Archives do that, they have a salt cavern which is cold and which is dry. Then they put everything in a seal metal can. Then they put it, yeah, then it lasts very long. But again, can you afford to do that? So it's like, no. Do you understand terminal command line? Hell no. But I can copy paste. And again, it's one of those things that slowly more I use it, the less scared I am. Because right now I'm using FFmpeg to do basic video editings and all that. So not editing, pardon me, manipulation. So basically, if some video is rotated, I'm like, okay, what if I rotate it? It's like, you can do that in VLC, geometry and all that, but again, it does not change the video file. But if you type FFmpeg transcode equals to, done. So a problem is because on this command line tool, I have to change the name. It cannot have space bar. So if you ever pirated any movie and you see underscore dot is the reason they're using something like that, command line tool. It does not accept space bars. So that's there. So while I do not understand, I'm not completely what you call hopeless against it. Like I can see it, like I can touch it. Not do much, but I can touch it. So Diwali I do not know, man. I do not know. Something will happen. Again, I'm trying to buy a long LED string. I cannot buy a pixel LED longer than 5 meters. I need 10 meters. So that's the problem. Apparently, that's the limit of 12 volt. Even though 48 volt strings are there, those are generally for white lights, not for actual color LED. So that's an issue. Have you made a video on Tor darknet on your sir? No, not really. It's too dark in the nature, so I'm like, not very comfortable with that. For nowadays, technology is cash positive. Do lithium battery recycling. Lithium battery recycling will become cash positive as the price of lithium goes up. So let's say right now nobody is recycling it. Again, from a what you call ecological point of view, a country can invest, like give some what you call bonus and all that to like, hey, do this because again we do not want what you call pollution, so to say. It could make sense, but as a essence of where it's like, hey, doing this economically, we are not there yet, but it will be. Like as demand goes up, supply may not go up, because again, that will allow them to increase the price. That time recycling will make more sense. So we are early stage right now. Or again, there is another factor. What if somebody figured out a very, what you call, very low cost way of doing that? If somebody can figure out a very cheap way of recycling lithium, basically all the minerals that go into lithium ion battery, then again it could make sense. Because again, you understand this way, all the lithium ion battery, it's 100% useful material. Compare that to ore mining. Ore is barely 10% useful material. So even if you have like lithium that has changed form into like dendrites and all that, it's still much easier to one step you get to useful stuff, or you have 5-6 steps before you get your useful stuff. So there is a probability if somebody can figure out how to separate them reliably, cost effectively, it could make sense even today. Even today it could be like, hey, it makes far more sense to recycle lithium rather than buy a new one. Which could happen. Have you made video? Okay, now okay. Alex Turkey, you have spent give 100 rupees. Thank you so much. Indian Railway safety. Another accident yesterday night. My train was diverted away last night Chennai route because of that accident. It happens when you have thousands of train accident happens. It's like if you ever wanted to freak yourself, see how many errors happen in airports. Every day something happens. Every day, like a plane would be like running off the runway. Some will slip. Some will have issue. Somebody has to do U-turn. It's common. It's one of those things. It happens. It is what it is, man. Like if you have that much people, that much stuff moving around, something will go wrong. Like you cannot have a system that's like 100% perfect. No. Now, could Indian Railway do better? Of course it could do better, but here's the deal, we will not pay for it. So it's a oxymoron where it's like, yeah. China made new battery that works 50 years without charging. Why the battery is not available? Yeah, most likely it's BS. Anything that is too good to be true, it is too good to be true, man. You have to grow up. You have to grow up. It's like China built a battery that lasted blah, blah, blah. No, just no. They would become world leader if that was true. They would not, here's the deal, this is how you know whether it's true or not. They no longer have electric charging vehicle. They're like, hey, we just have a battery, 50 years, man. Think it this way, like making a claim is free. You can shit yourself. It's like, like China built a sun. No, they did not. They just named a tokamak sun. So calling a tokamak into a working fusion reactor is like lol. As of now, I do hope in future we could crack it, but as of now it's lol. So do not fall for Chinese propaganda. It's sad. It's sad to watch it. Oh, somebody finally donated in freaking UPI, man. This code, UPI code, man. So what book you are currently reading? I did finish my 5th book, but did not talk about it, and I'm rereading Don't Believe Everything You Think, because I really want to calm down my overthinking circuitries, basically. The biggest hurdle right now is like I'm not living in the present. I do want to live in the present. Whatever happens tomorrow happens. It's like I can't control it, and like again I have freedom, but I'm not using it. Like I'm not smelling the roses. So it's like I'm cutting time rather than enjoying it. So I want to enjoy my life. And again, the primary problem is here. Everything else, like the money and all that, but here's still money is an infinite problem. No matter how much money you make, you always want to make more. So it's not that valuable. And again, if you can be happy at like whatever you are making, more likely you are to be actually happy. So money is not that big of a driver for me as of now. Right now my mental health is. So I'm rereading some old books. Gyani Prasad, 51 rupees you have donated. Happy Dashara for this pen. PAN. You wrote just pan. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. Sir, your favorite favorite festival? I'm so burnt that I don't even remember festivals anymore, man. Like that's the tragic part of it. Like I was so stupid when I was in Bangalore doing a job. I actually went to office on Diwali. Did not had to. I just went because my work was behind. I was like, I wasted like majority of my life simply because like I was like chasing too much. Never like, okay, let me enjoy today or let me worry about tomorrow. I never did that. That's the biggest stupid thing I could have done. So yeah, I don't even remember like when I was very child, maybe remember Holi and all that, but it's almost nothing. This news came in national news. Okay, that train accident could have happened. Let me Google it. Train ACC train accident. Which state you're talking about? Tamil Nadu train accident live update 3 hours ago. Okay. No casualties, thankfully. That's a good news. We are happy about that. Accident bad, but no casualty. I'm really happy about that. We just had one which had very high casualty. I think 200 casualties. Last one was. So even though it looks bad, it's the casualty is not very bad. So I'm happy about that. Like no casualty part. Not about the train accident, just that there was no casualty. So that was there. I saw a video somewhere that purified seawater, a huge amount of brine water released back into the sea. It's not eco-friendly. That's why rather than evaporating regular sea water, makes salt use brine. See, that would be ideal. We just do not have a way. That's perfect. Like that's what you call end game. That's what she should have. But yes, right now it does not make sense. The amount of money you have to spend just to process the brine would be less than the value that you will get out of the brine. So that's why we do not do it. The moment that equation will change, people will do it automatically. What is the second best option? Well, have a brine that is less toxic. What is the least toxic option? So you have 3 options. Multi-stage flash evaporation, that gives you 1.5x. RO, that's the worst because it gives you 2x brine. What is the least harmful? Least harmful is 1.1x of low temperature thermal desalination. That's why I was so happy about that. That's why I was so happy that India not only built it, they actually tested it and it's just working fine. So pan means pan in my area. We gave pan to each other on this day to celebrate friendship. Oh, pan dero. Acha, okay. That's interesting. No battery news. This will solve 2 problems together. Yeah, I get it. But you are thinking from emotional point of view. You are not thinking from economical point of view. You're like, wouldn't it be nice if we can do this? Of course, everything would be nice if we could. We just could not. So how would you do that? That's the science part, specifically the economics part. Science is also sorted. So it's the economic. In India, many big companies buy small startups. How they will, then how will countries succeed? It is what it is, my man. It is what it is. But again, if more than enough companies are like, that's the whole point of like, having the safety regulation, healthy competition committee. What was the commission committee, man? National competitions. COM, National Competition Committee, right? No, CCI, Competition Commission of India. That's their job. If they are not doing it, I'm not worrying about it. It's like it's their department. It's not mine. On your Hindi channel, you why don't you brand promote it? Again, nobody has come to me. It's like, do you really think I would not do that? Like, do you really think? Like, think it through, man. Come on, man. Come on. Think it through. Yeah, CCI. That's what I was talking about. CCI. It's like. Again, I am right now in the part of what you call YouTube creator workshop. Again, it's an invite only, so that means I'm doing something right. So again, they have a last session is about how to get brands and all that. I'll see what I can do, because I have noticed people who are like much smaller channel than mine also, like 100K they are getting from Asus and all that. And again, it's not like I have not gotten anything. Like, I got this from Orange Pi. I got a software defined radio. These are the things that I directly got. Other things also I think I have gotten. Now these are the two that I can directly count, like software defined radio and this single board computer that I have gotten. Other than that, I again time and time again people have asked, but that never goes anywhere. It's like, okay, what is your this and that's, like never goes anywhere. Nobody even answers me. It's like, what, like am I asking too much money or am I asking no money? It's like, the worst thing that I'm worried about is like, what if I ask them too little money and they're like, dude, this guy is crook. He's like asking too little. Again, that could happen. But again, I'm hoping that when that YouTube session happens, I would be there and I could actually understand what the hell is going on. I'm hoping for that. That channel is very big. Which channel? Again, I talked about it. It's like nobody is coming to doing that. I will not, again, most of the time, every time it's like, oh, I want to promote this. Okay, cool. Talk about it and all that. It's like nothing, no follow up, nothing, just disappears. Everything just disappears. So I genuinely do not know what to do about this. So do you have any plan to buy a 3D printer? I already have a 3D printer, working 3D printer. I do not need it. Like, this is 3D printed, my man. 3D printed, my man. It's a 3D printed stuff. I have 3D printer, so I do not, like, again, buying any new one is just excess at this point. I don't do that. Although, yeah, one thing I'm really interested in now, like it's a bug that ate my brain. I was working on my ESP32 fan control, but I think I have fried it. So that is like on back burner right now. But like I do want to make a enclosure for hard drives, which is hopefully hot swappable. If not, at least good airflow and characteristics, but I'll work on that. Promote betting sites. Yeah, ironically, I got a lot of crypto, lot of betting and all that. Yeah, I do got a lot of them. Thankfully, those I have rejected so far. So it is what it is. But other than that, I'm not getting any. Like, I have got inquiries like, oh, I want to do this. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting. Then they just poof. I'm like, what the hell? So, but again, it's not like these two things are from channel directly. Even one other company was a very big company. I wanted to work with them. They're like, hey, we are interested. They got me in touch with Instagram, and then they just like poof. So that how many times that poof have happened? Now it's a really frustrating. Like poof, everybody's like poof. It's frustrating, you know. Actually, at some point it becomes frustrating. Thankfully, I did contact other people. Thankfully, that's how I got my computer. And again, that's how other things will happen. So it's not completely what you call hopeless, but something is off. Like someone who has a 300K subscriber channel and again has a multiple shots that have crossed a million should be a bit better off than me. So that's a bit bad. Did you install real power window real power window AC vents in your espresso? No, yeah, that was one of my projects, but so many things I want to do, so little time. That I have to do. I have to do. That's a problem. Thankfully, there was one problem that I could not detach the handbrake cover, but I did figure out how to do it. So that part is sorted. I just never had the time, like actually sit down, work on it for at least, I think it will take 1 day to do it, but Nibby stuff grows up. Sivraj, Nibby stuff grows up. 36 I consume 5 mega per paracetamol, reason extremely frustrated with life. 5,000 milligram, that's like what, 50 grams or 5 grams? I cannot translate, I do not remember it precisely. How much does the 3D printer setup cost overall? It's not that expensive, dude. go in Amazon, type Ender 3, which is the cheapest one. If you want something that just works, you have to go to Bamboo. Other than that, there is no other good option. So you can try other options also, but again, Ender 3 will require some work, but it will work. Bamboo, it's expensive, but it will work out of the box. Like, you do not do much about it. Other than that, there is not that many good options. Your brother didn't update video on his channel regularly. Why? Because it's not his job. He's a doctor. YouTube is a side hobby. It's not a job. For me, YouTube is a job. That's the difference. You are one of the few YouTubers who at least have some integrity. Yeah, it's one of those things. One has to be. Again, my ego is too huge. I'm like, see, if I make a mistake, it should be mine. That's the whole point of my life. It's like, if I make a mistake, it should be mine. It's like, hey, I messed up. It cannot be like I was like coerced or like, this and that. It's like, no, I'll do my best. And again, it's one of those things very easy to say when people everybody barks on this part. It's like, oh, I would have never done that. But again, you never got the call. You never got, here's some money to sell your soul. You never got that offer. I did got that offer and I did reject it. So, that helps me sleep better. So it's not about integrity, it's more about like my peace of mind. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing this puppy is far more priceless than anything else. Like, I have seen people with boatload of money being miserable. And that's a very depressing thing. It's like, what the hell? Like, imagine being like, you're loaded and then it's like, what the hell? So, I wanted good photo for this, which one, a good camera phone or average DSLR. Trust me, get a camera phone. You will be disappointed with the average cheap DSLR that you can buy. Because people will expect, oh, I get a DSLR, I'll get f2.8 kind of photos. Yeah, you have to be very good. And again, if you are very good, you have already gone through it. You would not ask the question. If you're not that good, you will be very disappointed with the kit lenses and all that you get. So trust me, a mobile phone would be far better investment, so to say. What do you think about sister? What work your sister does? No, it's like that's a personal family question. I will not answer that. Any update on court thing? Yeah, court. I told you, one is over. By December, man. By December, we'll know more. No more, as in like case has been done. Heck, I'm not even joking. There is a paperwork on my name that is from High Court. I searched all websites. Like in your mobile phone, you will get an app. Let me tell the app name. Ecode service. In Ecode service, you can open the Ecode service and then you can type the CNR number. That is the case number, and that number should allow you to get the whole file, like what is happening and all that. Yeah, there is this case that I am dealing with this. There is like disposed case, undated case. Disposed case meaning the case that has been like closed and all that. If you're supposed to click it, hold on. This is okay. If you close it, it will go into that final order and all that. It will give you that last order, acts, case history, final order and judgment. In that final order and judgment, there is a green button that you're supposed to click and get the whole digital file of it, because again, it's typed. It's no longer like typewriter or person writing. It's actually typed. So file is there. They just never uploaded it here. So there are 2 files missing. Like, I do not have the digital file of it, even though I should have legally. It's like, it's so comfortable for government employees to not work, it's like, if I had failed or something, like I failed to upload, government will fire missile up their ass. When they forgot to upload, who cares? Who cares? So your big brother's channel name, my big brother's channel name is The Versatile Doctor. Nature always promotes taking risk for survival. Yeah, that's a... No. Nature is completely opposite to that. Nature is like, stay in your lane, man, and only change when you have no other option. Like, nature does not go like, it's like, stay in there. That's why we have fear so ingrained in us. Nature is like, bruh, stay safe first, reproduce first, everything else is later. So that's like you are mixing 2 things fundamentally opposite. Like, every biological species that has survived is risk averse by design. Hunting is not risky. You have to do it, otherwise you will starve. So risk averse, we are all risk averse by design. I think just only famous video creator in Hindi science tech real one. Thank you for saying that. In West Bengal, Durga Puja is happening. Have you ever visited here? No, not in festival. I've visited Calcutta many times, but not in festival. And most likely, it's not a recommended idea according to my friends because it will be very crowded, and I do not like very crowded things. Like if it's crowded, I'm like I'm out. Crowd, I'm out. Why not complain? How many challenges number you complete? Challenges you complete? I like that's it. In teenagers, talking risk is life is good or not. Taking risk and depends what kind of risk you are taking. Like you are smoking, right? Like let's say doing that's a risk, but again that risk can lend you to jail. But if you risk it like, hey, what if I invest early on some like some risky kind of stuff, that's a different kind of risk, and that would be fair. So risk is directly proportional to what kind of penalty you are talking about. So let's say you did something stupid, you got married, and that's a very high risk. Because here's the deal, what if happens if you dump money into a stock, it did not go other, okay, you lose the money. What happens if you get married? Well, you will get killed. So you will have family court, and then you're gonna have rape cases against you, then you're gonna have that, and then you, after getting divorced, let them be clear, after getting divorced, you have to pay her until she gets remarried or that. So there is a very serious penalty. So that's not the same mistake, same price as other things. Whereas like even this, it's like 1 or 2 years of jail. Other things is like, bro, lifelong sentence. So you have to understand risk. You have to calculate how much risk you are okay with. Like for example, you take a risk, right? You jumped out of a plane, taking parachute failed. You did. There is no suffering there. But like again, if you're like, I'm sucker for suffering, get married. Just a personal question. Have you ever been depressed or felt suicidal? Oh, my man, you should have seen me when the case was like the early days. You should have seen me. Like, those were dark days. I'm not like, again, watch my old videos. Like, those are not in English channel, but in Hindi channel, I was doing live for like throughout the whole process. You could see that I was almost dead inside. Like it was bad. Why not you complaining? I do not know what you mean. No context. Have you made any video on Novak fluids using the immersion cooling in latest PC and data center? No, they have not shared what exactly is the composition of the fluid. Without that, there is nothing to talk about. It's just basic immersion cooling, and I already have a video on that. So that's there. Why teenage girls are addicted to Korean drama? Can you explain? Here's the better question. Why are you addicted to that question? That is so useless to you. It's like, why do you want to know? I want to know that. It's like, why do you care? Like fundamentally, trust me, this is not me like being pompous and all that. This is the best thing I can tell you. Delete, what you call idle questions. Do not worry about what somebody else is doing. Like, trust me, I have wasted 80% of my life on that. Do not. It's just like what they're doing. There's like, does that affect me? Yes, no. No, it does not affect me. Yeet out of there. Delete that function. Like go to Control-Shift-Delete, Task Manager, delete that function. Do not ever ask silly things like that. It's like, why somebody else is doing something? It's like, I do not ask like why people are buying Apple. I know, and I'm happy with it. It's like, they're gonna buy it. No matter what happens, they're gonna buy it. The end. I do not have to know more than that. It's like, okay, it is what it is. I move on because I do not have the authority to change it, nor desire to change, because it's not my problem. It's like, not my circus, not my monkey. So, what book are you reading right now? I've finished 5th book. I'm not sure whether I'm going to talk about it, but I'll see about that. I'll see whether I should try. Hello, sir Rahulpa. Hello to you. My risk is taking career in teaching field, biology, chemistry. Yeah, still both have pros and cons, of course. That's life. Here's the deal. This is one thing you have to understand. There is no right decision. It's just trade-offs. Can you manage the trade-off? That's it. Like I became a YouTuber. Financially, this is a bad decision, but practically it's a better decision. Why? While I would have been in Bangalore making far more money than I am right now, I would be far more poor. I would be broke. I would not have the luxury of buying like, even this. Because again, the rent is that expensive in Bangalore. So you have to understand, it's just like not everything has like, but again, I would have been some services which I do wish would have been very easily available, very easily. I could just like, oh, go here, get that service done. Those are the big thing. And again, food wise, because Bangalore is a working kind of city, you can just go out, eat food. That's not an option in my hometown. Like it's not like, quality food. Like I have seen, again, that Murgesh Palia road, there is a, what you call, Total Mall. In front of that Total Mall, there is Udupi. That Udupi is next to one of the research center of ISRO. So a lot of ISRO scientists come in the afternoon and they eat there. And again, the food quality is good. I have never found something comparable to that here in my own hometown, where I can just go and eat daily without getting my stomach upset. So there are some things like services, food, and quality medical service. So there are some things that I gave up when I came from Bangalore, but here I have a lot more comfort. I'm with my family and I have like huge surface area to myself. That's one good part. And again, I work on my own schedule. That's also desirable, and I'm enjoying my work. That's and again, you may think, oh, you would enjoy if you are liking. I wanted to be a 3D game artist. I became a 3D game artist. After a point, again, once you're getting paid for it, now you have to understand it's someone else's work. You will lose that sort of joy. It's like, so you win some, you lose some. It's all about, can you live with a penalty? How many subs needed to monetize the channel? Channel requires 1000 subs and 4000 hour. Trust me, subscriber is easy. It's the hour count that will get you. But thankfully, I do have 3 channels and all 3 are monetized. My Camera Tuesday channel is monetized. This English channel, Science to Technology, is monetized. And my main channel is, of course, that's the monetized. That's how I'm surviving. So that's there. I recently visited my district court with my girlfriend. She was a lawyer, civil court. You're absolutely right. Now I'm actually afraid. You should not be afraid. You should just let go. There is nothing to be afraid. It's like, that's the one good thing about it. Like, you have to be there to get destroyed. Like, you have to make the choice. Thankfully, choice is still in your hand. Do not make that choice. What's the question? Must subtle art of not giving. The Korean question, one must read the art of subtle not giving. Yeah, that's the whole point. It's like, at some point you have to realize, like, some questions are not good questions. Like, that's why I always talk about, like, never ever say the first question that comes out of your mouth. Never. Again, I'm also working on it, but that should be your first life goal. Never ever like, but no. Then it's like, okay. And one issue to think through is like, what the hell am I asking? Like, what the hell I'm asking? Why am I asking that? Like, do I know? Like, could I come up with a plausible explanation? Always crunch it. Never let it out. What's the biggest challenge of building NAS? The softwares, man. Like, building the NAS hardware, child's play, shut out, take money. The software is like, what the hell is this? Like, trust me, I thought like I'll install TrueNAS and it will just show up. No, I have to go there, create a vpool. So far, so easy. I have to go and activate SMB. So far, so easy. Now I have to create a, what is called, a subfolder or something like that. And then I have to activate it. Then I have to create share. It's like, what? Like, I copied copy pasted a tutorial and I still don't understand it. And I got it working. It's working right now. If I turn on my computer, the second computer, basically the NAS, it will show up in 5 to 6 minutes. And this is the first time in my life I had to replace the motherboard BIOS battery. Because the battery is like worn out. It was like 0.3 volt rather than 3 volt. It was like resetting. Because again, if the clock is not there, it does not know which boot device is there, what is tampered or not tampered. So it was always looping. It was not booting into that. So, and again, I cannot have monitor, keyboard, mouse connected to it all the time. So I had to do something. So I was like, replace the battery. Oh, now finally it actually boots. And my aim is, hopefully, knock on wood, I could convert this into a Pi KVM. Another problem will be like freaking network limitation. Right now, my network is very limited. And 2.5 GPS NAS are, switch are expensive AF. So that's the other point. My brain is supporting to take chemistry only for money. My emotions tell me take biology because I can explain things and to study it because it's a connection in real life where can't see. If you are actually competent in biology, it's very hard for me to believe that you will have like, starving for death. You're not. You're gonna have money. Okay. So I really find that part to be very hard to digest. Oh, you're gonna be good in biology and you're not gonna have money. It's like, yeah, that's not right. And here's the deal, you can go to other countries also. So even if India does not have the option you're looking for, there are other countries, 150 countries, 25 countries that you will willingly want to go. So trust me, don't like, because here's the deal, you have to do that thing for rest of your life. If you compromise there, you will suffer seriously. So whatever pay well do that is like no problem, I'm doing here right now. My professor, what thoughts on biochemistry? Professor payment gap low, then choose biology has 40%, chemistry has theory has 60%. So gifted in ESP32 we believe to My massage gifted me ESP32, will be delivered tomorrow, feeling excited. That's good. Like you have a good relative. Anyone who's giving you something to build, to learn, to grow, good. That's a good thing. Money depends upon application of subject. Which software you're using for your NAS? True NAS. That's the thing I'm using. Subject-based system application and all that. Okay, I forgot to tell you. I went to High Court and gave me a ticket-like thing. They cannot go inside the courtroom. But when I arrived, judge was not there, and so the close heart cling. Again, High Court. You can go to District Court. I'm not sure about High Court. District Court, I know you can go. High Court, I don't know. And again, have a talk with a lawyer and all that. Pay them for a one time. So they will tell you what to do. You can get married poor and ugly and handicapped. I promise you, she will never leave you. Trust me, they will. Trust me, they will. The thing that you are thinking about, more than enough men have done that, and all of them are burning in court. That's why go to the family court near you. I guarantee it, near you. Bade eye. What are those 25 countries? Dude, good countries like, Japan, USA, UK, places. Just name 25 countries from economics. You will figure that out. Next year I will start working. Do you have any suggestion of what should I know? Working in what? Next year I will start working. Do you have any suggestion on what I should know? Like working in what? Come on, man. Context. Provide some context, my man. Without context, a man has nothing. A man needs context. Hold on, let me get some water. Okay, so far so good. Happy Dashara. 1 minute. Bye. Okay, so I have seen biology lectures experience 32. I haven't seen chemistry experience 30 years in private colleges and all that. See, it's like, professor, you are not making a decision. You are not making the decision. You are just seeing what others are doing. It's up to you. Heck, you could be the first one who cracks it. It's like you have to be that 1% where it's like, it's like you do not exist in that equation that you're talking about. It's like everything else exists, you do not. Man context, a man in context. It's just VIPUL, it's not double P, it's just VIPUL. I was saying, if you are not super rich, then that's why I say, if you are not super rich, don't get married. Trust me, if you are super rich, you don't even need to. You don't even need to. Hindi boli. Yeah, I could use that Hindi words. It's not that like, end of the world. Anyway, and I said a man needs context. I did not say a man in context. A man needs context. Anyway, this was a live stream. Surprisingly good questions. I'm really happy about this. And again, let's see whether I can do live stream tomorrow about a rocket launch or not, because I'm not sure about whether it will actually happen or not, because right now even I'm refreshing the page, is still showing pending regulatory. I'm like, regulation is not gonna happen like 5 minutes before launch, so I'm not sure about that. It could happen, but I'm like very uncomfortable like pre-launching it and all that, so let's see. Anyway, we got relatives who work. How is Vipul Kumar your relative who works in court? I don't have a relative Vipul Kumar. Like, dude, my name does not have that. Relative who works in court. It's maybe a difference. Anyway, thank you guys for this interesting live stream. Today was some good questions, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.